Hello there, this is part 6 of the modeling a chair tutorial. So this time we're going to be doing this, this part here, adding these boxes onto, or squares onto this side. But because uh, the the way this bends is different from how this bends, we're going to we are going to approach this differently. So again, I'm going to start by modeling these squares. I should have used one of these squares. Let me see if I can actually get one instead of creating it from scratch, which might change the size. So I'm just going to duplicate this, hit P to separate it as an object, remove the mirror, and let me reset the origin to geometry. Let me have a look at this. I need to remove the subdivisions. Look at it from the top. Okay, I think I need to do it from scratch because they're all getting distorted. So let me first make sure that I'm saving backup copies of this project. Okay, so again, let's make the squares at a plane. Scale it down to the size of these squares, something like that, and then apply scale, go to edit mode, go to vertex mode, then go to edit mode and then vertex mode, and then bevel the vertices. Make sure you have everything selected, then hold down Ctrl Shift then B to bevel those vertices. You can increase the polygon count to have more rounded edges, but the problem is that you're going to run into you will have to connect them with other vertices, and that will just make it more difficult if you add more vertices. So that's why you see I'm keeping it to a minimum of 3 vertices. Now for this, again, I'm going to use the array modifier, so I can set this, add an array modifier. Again, I want it to be the same distance distribution. So let's see. I can increase the, let's see, the Z. Is it the Z? Okay. Let's see. I think it's the X. And add another one. And then copy this array and then just increase these on the, I think this time is the Y direction. Again, let's make sure that the distribution is even, and then increase the polygon count to get this. Now to have this deform around this, what I'm going to do is go to edit mode of this, select this middle edge loop, shift D to duplicate it like that, and then hit P to separate it into its own object. I can hide this for now, and then what I'm going to do is convert this to a curve object. I can apply, I don't need the mirror, I can apply the subdivisions, and then go to object, convert curve object. Now I can use this curve object I have just created to deform this object. So what I'm going to do is use Shift S, cursor selected, and then Shift S while selecting this other object, so that I can move it to other position of this object. And now what is left to do is add the deformer or curve object, a curve modifier to deform the object. Now I can select the curve and then find the right axis, deformation axis, and also move this on the right axis until we get the right deformation. I can now unhide this. You can see it's a bit off on the let me see, on the x-axis, and you can see in some areas this is too flat. It doesn't have enough resolution to follow the curve. You can also try moving this on the it depends on how your object is rotated. So you can move I have to move this on the y-axis of my object to get the right. And also, just to make my work a bit easier, I'm going to first turn off the arrays. And first give this the same details that I had given to the other one. So I think I inserted that, then push this out, added the loop there, push that out as well, something like to get something like that. I can insert this, maybe push it out a bit more, and start connecting this like that, like that. I just saw these cubes or squares bend easily around here. I'm just going to add a few extra loops here, maybe 3, so that they can deform quite easily here. So let me just show you without these supporting loops or these extra loops, it will just be too straight here, and I want it to follow. You can see now it's bending quite easier. And I think if I push this, let me see, because you can see the distance between the object. If I push this on the y-axis, I'm getting a better. Let's see now if I move this. Now if I add the first array, we get them like that. I think I need to increase or reduce my distance between them, and I want them to be connected as well. So what I'm going to do is apply the first array like this, then can connect these. You can use, you know what, I think I should add an array. Let me see if this would work. I can just bridge this, bridge that, do the same here. Bridge. If you hit W on your keyboard, you can hide the gizmo. So let me bridge these as well, so we have something like that. And if I turn on this array, see what we're getting. So I think I can select this edge loop, and this should be a value of 1. Then so can again select this here, have something like that. I think if I select these, I should also do something like this here. Instead this should be merged with that. This is why sometimes I like doing time lapses, because some of these steps are very, very repetitive. and it's just hard to explain them over and over. So see, need to merge this with this, this with that. Okay, see what we have. Then we are still having an issue where this is kind of intersecting or entering into our mesh. I think the spacing here is a bit more than what I have. So what I'm going to do is select these loops here, push them up a bit so that we have, yeah. Also make sure you have the merge option turned on here. I think I can go into the curve edit, the curve object, and start pulling some of the vertices up so that this is not going too much into, yes. Yeah, so something like that. I think something like this is good enough. And now what I'm left with is just applying, let me save again, copy. So I can apply the array and then apply the curve object, which I don't need anymore. Then actually, before I do that, I can see these cubes are not enough. They have to go all the way. So I need to push these to something like that, to have something like that. Maybe even I can push these on this axis. Now what is left to do is apply the array, apply the curve, add this loop so that we can use the mirror modifier. So I'll select this side, select everything on this side, delete those faces. Make sure that my cursor is at that loop, and then origin 3D cursor. Make sure this is recording. And then add the mirror modifier. Then apply this to this here, and can first disable the subdivisions. Add a loop around here. Maybe even push it a bit farther. Now all I need to do is find a way to merge everything here to this side. So I can just select that loop, I think what I need to do, I can just first merge these 3 loops here. Let's see if that would work. Every 3 vertices like that, I'll have to merge them so that this is a bit easier, and that also reduces the polygon count. And I think if we add the subdivision surface modifier, it should smooth out anything that might cause any issues. So so now that we have that, I think I can select from there to here and connect them like that. You can see we already have quite a lot of issues. So let me first add a few loops here so that we can easily connect them. So, and then I can select everything that is here and re-bridge those areas because we're having a few issues. And you can see that we're having some shading issues here. So I'll select everything and then use the shortcut Shift N to recalculate the normal so that I can clear some of those issues. And then can select these faces again, and I can delete them, then reselect them, reselect those edges, and then bridge again. You can see now we're getting a better bridge. If you select everything and go under faces, there's an option to beautify faces. That should make things look a little bit better, but I think in this case this looks good enough. So now we can come in and we can start reducing some of the edges we're having here, and some of the edges we don't need. I don't think we need these, so that would help reduce the polygon count and also reduce the amount of work we are supposed to do cleaning this up. I'm holding down Alt and then left clicking on the edge to select the entire edge loop. And I think I can use some of that, use some of that, and some of that. So let's see. We need this. Trying to see if there are edge loops that we don't need anymore. So this here doesn't seem to matter. Let me see if we turn on subdivisions. I think that looks okay. Okay, another thing I noticed is that these seem to be flipped the wrong side, but I guess that is not too much a problem. And if that bothers you a lot, you can just select these faces, and there's an option to select faces with the same area. So if you hold on Shift G, you can access that, and I can see we are selecting, maybe reduce the threshold here, and I can select anything, deselect anything else. Let's see. Then I can push these out as they're supposed to be. Let me see. Maybe this is supposed to be pushed down, and then these faces pushed up like that. Okay, so I'm having an issue here. I didn't deselect these ones here, so I need to do that. Okay, do we have any extras? Okay, so we want to push this in, deselect, push that up. Yeah, Then I'll have to do the same for this. So Shift G, select by area, and we have some extra faces that are selected. So Shift B to deselect, to box deselect those faces. Again, Control plus. And this should be pushed up. Yeah, so we are right back where we wanted to be. So seeing some issues here. Let's see how this is being pushed. Okay, so in the next part, maybe before I close this up, let me just fix some of the things going on here. Just extrude this, make sure clipping is turned on, and let's see, maybe I can add a loop here, connect this to that. See, the back side looks okay, except for this area here. So let's try and fix that as well. And yep, like that, and we are good. Now if you don't want these triangles, you can come and start reducing some of them like that, so that you mostly have chords. I think that would do. So something like that. Sometimes you can't really get rid of all the triangles you have in your mesh, so you might have to settle with a few triangles in your meshes. I think we are good. The hardest part of making this chair is almost done. What we're left with is these handles and these here, which are quite easy to make.